Discontinued
Gravy.
gravy.
Discontinued gravy.
Goal: to simplify life and make it fun.
Because we've been there.
I mean, we're in our mid-20s.
So we've seen it all.
This is
Discontinued.
gravy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're back.
We're back. We're ready to attack. We're going to dominate today.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that mindset of being we're going to dominate it. Let's do it. I feel like everyone's in the mindset of manifesting or being the it person right now. Is that just me?
No, absolutely. They are.
Tootsie.
Like-
how do you say that?
Absolutely?
Absolutely. Okay.
Absolutely. Yes, because I remember when my sister was here the other day, and oh god, the light's falling apart. And we were
Just your mid-20 problems.
And we were talking, and I was like, I think we were talking about like the border opening or something like that. And I was like, let's manifest it's gonna happen. We're gonna manifest this. It's gonna happen. And my sister and her boyfriend just looked at me like, what did you just say? I'm like, manifesting. Like, yeah, okay, like, we're just surprised to hear you say it. And I'm like, what do you mean? I've been doing this the whole time. And then they're like, yeah, but I feel like you would have made fun of it more so. I'm like, okay, you're like, originally, I said it ironically, but, you know, it works for other people, so let's fucking do it.
Absolutely. But it's one of those things too, Nick. I feel like you could go back probably to one of our first episodes. I'm sure one of us said, sometimes if you act like something's going to happen, most of the time it does.
I'd say you're right. I'd say it's happened, yep.
We said that before the big boom of let's manifest it. Yes, that's where it comes from. But Nick, you're that type of person. You're the type of guy that you're like, yeah, sure. Well, I'm sure that could happen. And you you keep riding the wave.
Just keep riding the wave. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
Yeah, exactly. But because you brought up the border, I feel sad for you because they haven't let the Canadians into the U.S., but we're letting the U.S. here. Why are we letting them walk over us?
I honestly don't understand. Like, it makes zero sense. We have a higher vaccination rate, a lower, like, COVID number, and yet we're the ones allowing them in, and we're not allowed to go there. I don't get it. I know our guys, like our politician people, were like, the fuck, and I even know like some of the, I think it was like I think it was an Eastern article I wrote, but it was like the New York Democrat guy. Mm-hmm. Was like blasting like his own party, being like, the fuck. Guys, we're losing shit here. We're losing money. and I was just like, oh. Like, you couldn't have just even done what the Canadians are doing and be like, okay, we'll reassess on August 8th to see if we're ready on August 9th. Like,
yeah, like, give us a date.
Like, that's 15 days. They're just like, no. One more month. By then, summer's going to end and nobody's going to want to freaking go to the United States.
And, like, I get it for Canada. They want their tourism to increase.
Who
for
wouldn't?
Vancouver, Banff, all those summery destinations.
Yeah.
That's a big tourist boom.
Heck yeah,
but
it
you'd
is.
think they would have talked it over a bit more because we want our Trader Joe's.
Literally. Had this other conversation with my friend today. She's like, I just want to go to Trader Joe's. I'm like, I mean, that's understandable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, I want to go down to the lake, but I also want to hit up Trader Joe's. And I know that you want to go to your camp in the summer. That's also in the U.S. So, time's a ticking.
My Nexus card is getting sad. It wants to be used, and I want to use it.
Right?
Yep.
Anyways, we'll get back to that another day. But Nick, how are you doing today? How are you doing?
Not bad.
I never ask you.
Not bad. You know, we're living life. Life goes on. You know, I don't know, we're doing it, man. It's just I'm fine. I get my vaccine tomorrow.
What?
Bro, no, okay, look, I totally cheated the system here. Okay.
I'm so excited for you, but I'm so jealous. I got my first vaccine before you.
Okay, but hear me out. So I got the text like a couple days ago, right? And I originally booked it for the 28th of July.
So the end of next week.
Exactly. And I was doing the math, and you know, when this was just after we announced that border, we're opening the border, and they're thinking the U.S. we're going to do kind of the same thing, like you need 2 doses.
Yeah, and they were saying a certain date too.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, possibly this date will reassess sometime in August.
Yeah. So if you did the math, my second dose would have been only 12 days in, because you need 2 weeks for it to fully set in. So I was like, all right. And then I remembered people are mentioning being like, oh, you know what you can do? You can reschedule your appointment. There's no one else. Well, appointments open up. People have to cancel.
Mm-hmm.
So I was
and you can go to different locations too.
Exactly. So I originally checked North Van, West Van, and Burnaby, kind of my surrounding area, and was like, and North Van was actually the earliest one. But then I checked on the reschedule. I'm just like, why not? Why not?
Mm-hmm.
So I did that. I'm looking around, and lo and behold, 2 days from now, because I booked this last night, I was like, Burnaby has a spot open at 9:20 in the morning on Thursday, and I was like, ooh, hell yeah! Now, pros and cons. I think I jinxed the border opening by doing this.
Probably, but I mean, hey, it would have worked out that they would have opened and you wouldn't have been able to go because you didn't have your vaccine.
Exactly, it goes both ways. But yeah, so I kind of hacked the system by rescheduling my appointment and finding an earlier time. So tomorrow, I could be dead tomorrow. Who knows? I mean, a lot of people have been saying this second dose is a real slap.
Oh, okay. You meant that type of death. I was like, the vaccine hasn't killed anyone, but
No misinformation here. No. Vaccines do not kill people, but the second dose kind of knocked you out.
Oh yeah. I've heard that too. I actually think I could have booked for this weekend on the Sunday, so I almost did that. But I'm having a shopping girls' day with my mom on the Saturday, and she'd be very sad if I cancel. She booked this literally a month in advance.
Okay, yeah, I guess. I mean, I thought about it. I'm like, because this is right in the middle of my work. I start at 7 tomorrow morning, but not anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're gonna have to walk me through this whole calling in sick thing, because you might have to call in sick the next day. I've heard from a lot of people the next day. It's just take it easy.
Well, yeah. I mean, the second dose or the first dose, I was perfectly fine. I had no problems. So I've heard the Moderna one is worse, in regards to getting knocked out. But I think the one I'm going to is a Pfizer clinic, so I'll get Pfizer. But most of the people at my work have been calling in sick, but I know a couple people who didn't. So I'm playing that bandwagon. I'm going to be okay, but they've already planned for if I'm not going to be there. So.
So the thing is, for my vaccine, I booked it for after work. I don't know why I didn't book it so I could leave work early, but I thought, hey, if I'm going to be feeling really crappy the next day, I would feel more guilty about leaving work early than taking the next day off as well. Because that's me. That's just the type of person I am. My work doesn't care.
Yeah.
But I actually don't know how to call in sick. There's no procedure at my job because it's not like a structure where it's there's this designated manager. You have to I know for Fraser Health, it's an Earl. You have to put an Earl out. It's basically the person who you call into his name is Earl or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But there's no procedure. I've never been told who to tell. And most of the time, I'm the first person in the building. So if I don't show up,
well, I guess I guess you'd leave a message at some person's or text them. I don't know if you have that kind of information. But usually, I mean, in the retail life, you just call the opening manager and bruh, not happening today.
Right, but there isn't an opening manager. Most of the time, because the people in charge don't get there till probably about 10, because they stay late because they have to do certain things. So they usually stay later. So they come in a little bit later. Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's going to be 2-3 hours before one of them comes in and notices that I'm not there and checks their messages. And I don't want to be preemptive and say that I'm not coming in because I'm getting my vaccine, because I don't know if I'm going to feel bad. I might feel fine and dandy.
But in the same breath, it might not. It might be like a safe bet to be like, I am getting my second vaccine. Just a heads up. I could be feeling ill, just to let you know. Like at least pre-bait it, instead of just being like, like, well, hold on here, like,
See, I've never thought about doing that, just because I've never called in sick in my life. So that didn't even occur to me to just be like, hey, I might be feeling sick tomorrow. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Interesting. Things to think about.
These are things to think about, but this is not at all what we're talking about.
Yes, I'm sorry. We're going to try to keep our intros shorter.
Okay.
Nick and I have actually talked about this, but we are catching up right now too.
But I will say this one was important because we were talking about vaccines.
True.
We're allowed
Good point.
We're allowed to go over time when we're talking about vaccines.
True. Current events, vaccines, things that help people.
But our instincts tell us to move on.
What a nice little intro to our next part of our topic today. People, we're talking about instincts.
Instincts and how they are annoying as hell sometimes, but also like, they can be pretty handy as well.
Yeah, they can save your butt sometimes. They truly can.
They sure can indeed. And I guess, should I just start with the reasoning we have this topic?
I mean, you're the one who came up with it. People, I just want everyone to know right now that Nick and I thought of a topic ahead of time. A few weeks ahead of time, even.
We've had this one for a couple weeks now.
I know. What is happening? We have a weekly schedule.
Yeah, this is like the third Wednesday in a row we're recording? Like,
fourth, I believe.
Oh, man, look at us.
Oh, my God.
We're incredible people. But anyway, so, like, I don't know if I can get my leg that high. Oh, there it is. Nice.
Okay, for people who can't see, Nick was just showing off his nice scar on his leg.
Yeah. So, to how I got that scar, basically, I was playing baseball, or slow pitch, I guess, whatever it's called, and so when you haven't done something for like 10 years, but you did something for like 9 straight years, so all the things are still in your brain. So let's just take us back to the inning prior. And some guy on the other team, he was sliding into second base. I'm in the outfield, and I'm just like, who the fuck slides in slow pitch? Who does that?
True. There's a reason you're playing a lower division and
like,
slow pitch.
We're not, nobody's here to like that serious. You're in shorts on gravel. Like, it's just a bad idea. So anyway, I'm on first in the next inning, and, it was kind of like a shallow pop, it could be caught, so I couldn't quite go to second directly. I might have had to come back and tag up. So, I'm kind of halfway there, but then, they drop it. I'm like, shit, now I need to run. And in baseball, you're taught, when there's a play at the base, you slide. You got to be safe, right? So in my head, I'm like, I don't need to slide here. I know this. Like I said, I made fun of the guy prior to this. My head knows not to slide here. But your body and your muscle memory and your instincts are just like, no, you need to slide here. And you don't get a say in the matter. So your
body's taken over. Your
mind
has nothing to do with it now.
Exactly. My body just hurls itself. So I slide on the gravel. I get a nice little cut there. But that's not to be outdone, because 2 days later, I go to play Ultimate. And the grass is kind of browning. It's summer. It's been very hot. We haven't got a lot of rain at all. And so, like, there was a play, and I was... the disc was kind of low, so I had to slide to get it. Of course, I slid on the leg, because I'm an idiot. I didn't tape it up or anything, because I didn't think I'd be sliding that day. But again, instincts were like, no, go down. And that's when it opened. Like, before it was like one of those scrapes, where it doesn't bleed, but the skin was kind of shaved off.
I think that's usually what happens to me. Like, mine never gets to that point where I have to tape it up immensely. Like, it's just like... that sucks, and that's gonna hurt for a while.
Yeah,
but that's about it.
Exactly. But this time it took the rest of it off, and that was like, it was bloody. Like, my whole leg was just blood, and then the cleats are bloody. Like, it was just an absolute hot mess. And then my friend, good card, Marissa, went into her car and had this, like, I don't know, this car version of a first aid kit, and there was, like, this really thin gauze, and somebody else gave me a Band-Aid, and we just, like, taped the shit out of it. It worked, but, you know. My sister gave it a 3 out of 10 for creativity for the wrap job.
a 3 out of 10.
A 3 out of 10. Keep in mind, she's a nurse.
But that means she's probably seen some pretty creative things.
I'm sure she has. I thought we deserved more than a 3. But anyway, so I had that, and then I had to, like, wrap it up, and it's been banded for, like, 2 weeks now, and that's what instincts get you. It gets you injuries. Not that it was, like, an injury, like, I wasn't, like, hurt or anything, like, I could still play. Like, it didn't, like, hurt me to run or anything. It's just a really inconvenient injury.
A little gnarly scar.
Yeah, so that's kind of, that's it. But, yeah.
See, you needed that freeze stuff that they have on for professional soccer. I forget what it's called,
yeah,
but they bring it out, and whatever injury you have, doesn't matter. Come out with spray.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know if I'd want that. You know what I mean?
I'm scared of it, especially for like an open wound. Like,
yeah, they're just like, yeah, freeze him. Hey, you're good to go. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Get back out there.
That's not scary at all.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
I feel like sports is just one of those things that you forget that you have instincts about, right? Especially if you've played for years on end. It's going to get you in some pretty tricky situations. Also, because maybe you haven't done it in a long time, so you probably aren't going to do it well. Example, Nick.
Well, see, the thing is, I did it perfectly. That was a beautiful, perfect slide. I was safe, and the dive and ultimate was needed, and I caught it, and I made a play. But it just wasn't necessary.
See, but you're just so competitive.
I didn't have to do these things, but my body's like, no, you do. And I'm like, fuck, just why?
I mean, but your instincts can help you do pretty great stuff. And I feel like sports is a prime example of when instincts can make you pretty badass.
Well, absolutely they can. I mean, like, the instincts can be as simple as, like, so I played baseball for all those years. You know, like, that ability to catch things. I have a really good ability to catch things. Like, something will be falling off the table, I'll just be like, whoa.
Spider-Man.
Grab it. Like, I'll just grab it. It could be a piece of paper, and I'll be able to stab it, and people are like, whoa. And I'm like, what? They're like, how did you catch it? I'm like, I got game.
Reflexes.
But that's just an instinct. My first thought, you know, a lot of people's first thought is like, oh God. Well, my first thought is like, oh.
See, I have terrible instincts because I think everything through first. Or when I do trust my instincts, it's horrible. Right? I have to get a second guess myself over my instincts because it's like, the last time I trusted my instincts, that didn't end too well. And that could be anything in life. Like, a guy you dated, right?
Yeah,
like,
well,
I can think of a situation where I'm like, wow, my instincts led me astray there.
Well,
like,
it can absolutely. You could, you know, like we talked about last week, asking somebody out. Like, your gut's being like, you need to ask this girl out, man. She likes you. We know she likes you. Hardcore. Like, this is for sure gonna happen. Like, how can you not? And then you ask her because you're like obviously your gut instincts like she's gonna say yes, and you're like, wait, what? No, girl. Oh God, no. And you're just like, oh.
Right? But I mean, there's always that. Like, what's the difference between instinct and like 5 seconds of courage and not letting yourself think? Are those essentially the same thing?
Yeah.
Or is it because you're allowing yourself to turn off your brain that you're able to have that courage? Because I feel like instinct also takes a certain amount of courage.
I think courage...
Or stupidity.
yeah, honestly. I think courage is... It's like the 5 seconds of courage is just... It's like a wind. You get a second wind. It's just random. There's a moment...
That's so poetic.
It's a moment where you've thought about it and you're just like, well... Here it happened, and there's no moments of thinking or stuff like that. Instincts, I think, are more you've learned or you were kind of born with. Like in regards to the baseball thing, like that is something I learned and was ingrained with for 10 years. Now it's not going anywhere now, but now there are moments where it's going to come back and be like I know what to do, but that's where my brain is able to shut off and be like, this is muscle memory at this point. The body can take it away. I don't need to think about this because I know what the plan is. I know what's going to happen. It's like, it's like a gear. It's always doing the same thing, right? And when you do it enough times, it doesn't need that switch. It's just going to happen. You know it's going to work. There's no need to think about it. So I think courage and instinct are slightly different. I think instinct works, but courage is more like just ballsy
Where
up.
instinct's more related to your gut, right?
Yeah.
Like those two things are interconnected in the way that you just do it.
Yeah.
Right? Like Nick said, you catch the falling pencil really quickly, or the glass from shattering, or you go in for that kiss because you really like that girl.
Yep.
Right? Those are all signs of instinct.
Yeah.
But I mean, why do we trust it if it leads us astray so often?
I think the thing is you're not trusting it. It's more like it's like a percentages or a statistic. Like it's worked this many times. 9 of 10. So why wouldn't it work now? Like the statistics are behind it for like the slide, for example. I know it works. It might not work, but I know it works most of the time. So why wouldn't I take that shot?
So it's learning to trust yourself, essentially.
I guess it is, yeah. Learning to, trust your instincts and be able to, make that move, make that play.
I was having this conversation the other day with my significant other, and it was a conversation about trusting yourself and how if you're the person who studies really hard for a test, stays up all night studying, and you're kind of the bookworm, right? And you get an A on that test, you're not going to trust yourself the next time to be like, okay, like I don't need to study as hard because I know this. You're still going to keep doing that. Whereas the person who doesn't study that hard, maybe studies a little bit and gets a B+, they're going to trust themselves. They're going to be like, oh yeah, I can do that.
Yep, I agree. No, I totally agree. You're able to trust yourself and know that this is going to work, or at least has a good chance of working.
Yeah, well, you have the confidence to do it.
Exactly. You got the confidence to win.
Yeah, essentially. And I mean, it's hard because, like, for someone like me, I've grown up to be taught to be agreeable. Like, one of my great qualities, I like it about myself, is that I am very agreeable. I'm a people pleaser.
Yep, I think I'm the same one.
Yeah, exactly. But it causes me to second guess most of the moves I make because I don't want to make someone feel bad or something. Or if I don't want to come off the wrong way. So I'm not trusting my instincts. I'm thinking about how it's making someone else feel right away. And it's so hard to turn off. Like, doesn't really relate to instincts. But the other day I was picking up pho. And I made sure to order a banh mi. A banh mi sub. And even said pork. And, like, they repeated that and everything. Go to pick it up. And they're like, everything is in this bag on the table. It was the only bag on the table. I was like, okay, great. It was a really big bag because we got pho and the banh mi and a few other things. Yeah. Bring it home. It's not there. Yep. So the place calls me because they're great.
Yep.
And to let me know. So I call them back and I'm like, oh, like, thank you for letting me know. I'm not going to be coming back for it. I guess I forgot it. Why did I say I forgot it?
Yeah.
Like, it's neither person's fault.
No.
I mean, it's one of those things that, like, it happens. And they were really sweet and we're like, okay, what's your phone number? The next time you order in from us, we'll make sure to put the banh mi on us, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, super sweet, did the right thing.
Yep.
But I did trust my instincts of they were the ones who messed up.
Well, it's kinda...
Like, I was like, I messed up.
Well, it's kind of like that, Canadianism of, when you run into somebody, but it's clearly their fault, you still say sorry. You know what I mean?
See, but I don't know if that's Canadianism. I just think it's either you're an agreeable person or you're not.
Right, but I think generally, like, it's thought of as a Canadian thing. They say sorry for no reason.
The
Like,
Canadian side shuffle.
You know, like somebody punches you in the face and you're like, oh, sorry, my head got in the way of your fist. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just, yeah, like you're just an agreeable, in a sense, to a fault.
Yeah, your instinct is to be agreeable.
But
Almost.
in the same breath, the way you handled that, I mean, they understood and were like, okay, next time we got you. But let's say you were a total asshole about it. Being like, how could you forget that? Like, it ain't my fault, it's your fault. I think you should give me a discount next time. You know what? If you did that to me in retail, haha, fuck you. I'm not giving you shit. If I know I messed up,
yeah.
I got you. But if you make a shit about it, fuck you. I don't care. Like if you had been mean to them, they might not have been so inclined to give you that next time. I think they would have anyway. But it would have strained the relationship. Now they're gonna remember you, man.
Yeah. I mean, my relationship with customer service is that the customer's always right most of the time, even when they're wrong. And it sucks because when there's someone who complains and honestly, like, there's nothing to complain about, most of the time they're still going to get something out of it if it's in the service industry.
I hate it.
And I hate it too because there's that sweet couple over there. Yeah, I'll try to comp like their dessert on their anniversary or something. But you know what? They don't get the same like reoccurring, oh, well, like, this is on us tonight, like trying to smooth everything out because you just want them to be happy. The happy couple, you're happy that they're happy.
Yep.
But I don't feel like they get noticed as much. And I mean, that's besides the point. That doesn't go down to instinct. That's more customer service based and the other stuff, that inner workings.
Right, but I mean, you could say it like it was the instinct, you know. Oh, this person's being nice, I'm going to help them out. You know what I mean? Like, it's an instinct. Like, you know, the second somebody does that thing, you're going to be, you know where you're going to go. That feeling you have is the instinct of knowing, like, you know, not walking up to somebody and, you know, you almost know they're going to ask for a discount kind of thing. You know what I mean?
They have a look about them.
You know, and they're like, oh, just give me this off. And I'm like, no. Like, my first instinct is when they ask for a discount is to say no. You know what I mean?
So our customer service experiences are so different just because, like, retail, the way retail employees get treated is horrible most of the time.
Yes.
But it's a retail customer service and, like, the service industry is just, it's completely different.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100% way different. Way different. But, you know, the instincts are generally the same.
So, Nick, I looked up what instinct actually means. So, like, the definition. So,
Okay.
take this for what you will, but this is from the Oxford Dictionary.
Ooh,
So,
that's a good one.
exactly. An innate, typically fixed pattern or behavior in animals in response to certain stimulation or stimuli. So, for example, birds have an instinct to build nests. So,
Right.
it's going back to behavioral patterns.
Yeah, well, that, that kind of an
So-
instinct is you're born with.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's human nature at that point.
Yeah, like, you know, like, I mean, that's kind of the crazy thing, like, the animals that, like, know that kind of shit, like, 200 years ago, and they freaking somehow evolved into be able to know. Nobody's taught them anything, but they know to build a friggin' nest. But no, they're you know, like, you know, we're taught to say, you know, like, stuff like please and thank you. But I think because of, you know, all the years of it being a thing, it's one of those things that's easier to learn. You know, it's not like you don't really need to be taught. Or like walking, crawling, crying. These are all just instincts. You have, the second you're born, you think you know how to cry? No, but you know how to breathe. You know how to look. you know how to like move. These are all just natural instincts that we have, but that's like a different type of instinct.
And I mean, like, you have a good point. Like, for example, the bunny I got, right? He's litter trained. He's 8 weeks old.
How does he know that?
You know, it's their instinct to find a corner on hay and go pee. You know, like, it's a safety thing to go in a corner. And I believe that's, like, human nature, too. Like, if you're not going behind a tree, you're going in a corner.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true.
If you're stuck in a room, there's a corner. Sorry.
Krista really likes this.
I think that's more funny than it is.
But you could even say it about human beings. Like, in the beginning, like, there's a reason, you know, we wear diapers and stuff, is because it just happens. You can't choose whether it's coming out or not. It's just gonna happen. And that's just human nature. It's gonna happen.
And I mean, I know that there's many psychology theories on how long it takes a child to learn to potty train and all those other things. But that's not the point.
That's just statistics at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
we're going over general human instinct.
Yeah.
You know? Like, the things that are just innately inside you. And, like, I believe I have a really good instinct on knowing if someone has, like, a truly good heart.
Yeah.
You know, and I believe that's also why I don't surround myself with a lot of people, because I'm not saying they don't have a truly good heart, but their energy is just on a different wavelength from what I'm looking for in life.
Yeah. Well,
and maybe my wording was off with the truly good heart, but like it's looking for a characteristic, you know, like I feel like I'm very good at judging certain things that fit well by just after the first meet.
Right. And I mean, but it's an instinct to know that, like, to know that this person is good. You know, it's an instinct to know, like, if you're going to marry somebody. Like, you have a good idea, like, oh, we fit well together, we fit blah, blah, blah. But it's an instinct to, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I feel like this could just be me, but there's an instinct straight away that you know if things are going to work well with someone pretty quickly. You know, I don't mean like get married, but you know straight away this is going to be a good one, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Right? Like, it might not matter how it ends, but it's one of those things I feel like after the first date, you can get a good feeling. And you know what, maybe I'm a bit naive, because I was also the girl that I became very infatuated straight away. Like, I was in lust with people.
Yeah.
I was like, I love this quality. I love this. I love this. I love this potential type of thing.
Yep.
So I couldn't trust my instinct there.
No, you couldn't.
not when it came to potential.
No, but I mean, you know, that love at first sight thing, that's an instinct.
Yes, exactly. That's a great point.
Like, that's like, you know, you see this person, you're just like you know, this is the one. Like I just, like, that's an instinct. That's nothing more than instinct, because you don't know anything about this person. You don't even know their name, but yet you know this person is the one. I know that doesn't happen all the time. It's like love at first sight. I know it's kind of a bit of a gray area. Like, obviously you didn't just look at the person and was like, this is the one. This is it. I know this is happening.
I mean, for those of you that are like lucky enough that ended up with their first high school sweetheart person, then yeah, maybe you can call that love at first sight, because that was such an innocent time, right? And you barely know them, and you don't know who they're going to grow into either at that point.
Yeah. But that's an instinct at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a crazy one.
It's.
Do you believe in love at first sight?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like you only believe in it if it's happened to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't necessarily not think it's a thing, but I don't also think it's a thing either.
See, I haven't put too much thought in it, because with my relationship, like, he was my first relationship. He was the first guy that, like, I was obsessed with.
Right.
And, like,
kind of.
And it worked out, you know? And I remember, like, hoping. I didn't know. Especially since, like, we broke up twice.
But hey.
Like, the second time, I definitely didn't think so.
But if they come back, they're yours forever.
Right? And the door is always open until the ring's on it. But yeah, I don't know exactly. Like you said, I don't think you know until it happens to you. Or you have your parents who tell you, and they're cute, and they're just like,
I think that boy likes you. You're like, okay, great, thanks, but no.
No.
I'm good, thanks.
I don't know. My teen instincts were horrible growing up. Because I had not the need to lie, but I felt shame around my relationship for some reason. Mm-hmm. As if I couldn't be who I wanted to be with this person.
Right.
You know? So my instinct was to tell white lies. They came out so easily. They weren't real lies. They were just, like, I wasn't on a date. Yeah. We were just doing this, you know? Yeah. Or
it was like an instinct, but that's one that I think you kind of created yourself. You know, you started a little bit after, but then it just became so easy. Your mind's just like, oh, like, where are you? Oh, you know, just hang out. Like
yeah.
When I'm hanging with my friends, like, even now, like, my parents be like, who are you hanging out with? I'm like, oh, you know, friends.
Exactly. It was just one of those things, like, did I not tell them because I didn't want it to be a big deal? Because it's like,
well, yeah.
Right? And then it's like, oh, it's a big deal. I don't want to deal with that.
Well, no, like, totally. And I mean, like, I have, like, an instinct I have is to be, like, instantly defensive. Like, if somebody says something, like, I'm immediate on the defense, be like, whoa, what are you talking about? Why is it me? Like, ooh. I think that comes from, like, look, a lot of my childhood, I got blamed for a lot of shit that was not me. Because I was bigger than the other kids. I was this, I was that. So I think my natural instinct is just to be like, no, it wasn't me. Which,
you had to learn to stand up for yourself.
Yeah, and, you know, like, it's tough, especially in a relationship, when your girlfriend always getting mad at you.
You need to fall on your sword a bit sometimes.
Right, but your first instinct is to be defensive, and it's really hard to shake that. It's really hard to shake that instinct that you know so well that you have to almost, like, relearn it, and it's almost impossible to learn. It's almost just easier to just be straight up, be like, also, I get defensive really quickly. Don't be afraid to say it. But then sometimes when they say you're being defensive, you're like, no, I'm not. You're still being defensive. I know this.
No, but exactly. If you let your partner know, then at least they know. Maybe they can bring it up. It's really hard to say that without it being like, you're getting defensive. No, I'm not. Exactly. Yeah. Like, it's one of those things. And it's interesting that you bring up getting defensive, Nick. Yeah. Because recently, like, I feel like I've been getting more defensive recently. But I think it's because I've told myself that I'm going to stand up for myself more. So, like what you said, you had to learn to stand up for yourself. So, even if it's just a funny comment, you know, they don't mean anything by it. Mm-hmm. You know? Like, oh, mom and dad were so done with you, they're just going to throw all your garbage out onto the road. And I'm like, actually, like, my situation was a little different there. Yeah. Because they were trying to relate it to something else. They thought it was funny. Yeah. It was, but you know what? Like, that's not true about me. Nope. And I was going through something at that time, so I don't appreciate that. Yeah. In the past, never would have just let that slide or laugh it off. Yeah. And I went home being like, oh my gosh, I just feel so bad. I was so defensive.
It's tough.
But you're right, Nick. Sometimes you need to do that.
Instincts are there for a reason, and they're an instinct for a reason. Because sometimes it's going to get you out of a jam, and sometimes it's going to dig you a deeper hole. You got to learn to be able to balance it, I guess. Yeah. And I don't think you ever will, because I'll never do it.
See, I feel like at the end of the day, you should just follow your instincts. They're there for a reason. Yeah, they might lead you to date that crummy guy, but at the same time, maybe you were supposed to. Right? I believe so many things in life happen for a reason. Yeah. Not everything. I'm not saying everything's meant to happen for a reason. Some really crappy things happen in life for no good reason.
Yeah, but it's there for a reason. It's no reason, but it's there for a reason. You had to experience it. Something in your life said you had to experience. Like, I'm a big believer in that.
Mm-hmm. There are certain things I think there's an exception too.
Yep.
For like example, death or I don't think people need that to grow or whatever.
No, of course not.
But we don't have to get into that topic because I feel like that could be a good one.
Yes, it could.
But exactly, it's just one of those things. It's like you got to see what happens. Why are your instincts taking you there? Part of that's true. A piece of who you truly are, the authentic you. And I feel like as we get older, we try to push our authentic selves kind of away because we want to blend in, be normal, be popular, whatever. And then in our mid-20s, we kind of start to come back to ourselves. Like, you know what? Like, I miss me.
I miss me.
I miss me.
Yeah.
And those instincts are a piece of you, right?
Yep,
Like they got you to
100%.
a certain point for a reason.
Yep, 100%. Yep.
I don't know. It might sound all too floofy.
Maybe, but also might not.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys can relate, let us know. But if you can't and you think that we're both being floofy, let Nick and I know because sometimes Nick and I are very similar in some aspects.
Yes, we are.
We're both not super opinionated on
But
things
we
unless
can
we
be.
have to be. Yeah,
But
unless
we
we
can
have
be.
to be.
If you want to
We
give
s-
me two things, I'll be opinionated about it for you.
Right? Like there's certain things that you can get Nick worked up about.
Yep.
But again, like we don't ever do anything out of malicious intent. But it's just our instinct, right?
It's just our instinct. Every episode we do is an instinct.
The topics we choose.
Exactly.
I don't know. I think at the end of the day, follow your instinct.
Trust it. It works.
Do it. Okay, I promise I'm going to start following my instincts more starting tomorrow. Because I don't know if I can do that tonight. We only have a few hours left of tonight.
Yes, we'll start. Well, it's 12:30 midnight Eastern time. But we're in the Pacific time zone, so screw that.
Yeah, so screw that.
Anyway, yes, we will trust our instincts more.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to try to do it at work more too. I don't think we have time to go into that today, but it will be interesting to go over that. But I think it's time to go to our next segment.
Which is?
Questions of the week.
Okay.
I feel like I can say that faster. Question of the week. Questions of the week. Questions of the week. Can you say it faster? You try.
Question of the week. I don't know.
That was pretty quick.
Questions of
But
the week.
I feel like we're both losing letters.
Questions of the week? Yeah, it's pretty hard to get like every single letter in.
Because they're so unique, like a Q,
Yeah.
a W.
It's a 10-letter word. That's a 4-letter word. Or
Yeah.
letter. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways. Okay, let me pull them up. Hi, Nick and Krysta. With the borders opening and so much happening in Canada, I would like to know your first suggestion of what I should do as I've never left BC before. Ooh.
Ooh. Good question. The only place I've ever been to outside of BC is Toronto, and I'm not going to recommend that.
You know what? I would recommend Banff, Alberta.
Fair.
Because I do feel like if you haven't left BC before, it is really awesome to see the other things that Canada has to offer. And Banff, Lake Louise, Jasper National Park, all those beautiful areas, they're very different scenery from here. Whereas we have the beautiful mountains and the ocean. To go inwards a bit would be very cool. And you know what? Support the Canadian economy. We need it right now.
Yes, we do.
If we're talking worldwide, if you've saved it up, kid, go to Greece or something. Go big.
Yeah, if we're staying in Canada, I would suggest the Maritimes, like in New Brunswick or Nova Scotia.
Nick, where's that place that has polar bears in Manitoba?
Like
Search the sea.
Winkler? I don't know.
Churchill?
Oh, Churchill. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see polar bears there, right?
Yeah.
That's terrifying to me.
That could be pretty cool, actually. But I like the Maritimes. I love New Brunswick, or even the Yukon. Can see the Northern Lights and stuff like that. I think Canada has a lot of things that we don't know. It's just so expensive to travel here, so we don't go see it. But I'd recommend, people are gonna say, "Oh, Toronto, Montreal," but why not try something different? Go to Fredericton, New Brunswick, the capital city.
I mean, they're all great suggestions. Do a road trip. I would love to try to do another road trip.
Drive the entirety of Canada. Just do it.
Woo! I mean, that's a long one to do. I've done a road trip to Alberta once, but that was about it. And then I remember getting to the province border and being like, why is there no security guards?
I don't think we do that. I think it's more like a line.
It's just a sign.
It says Alberta.
Yep. That's it.
That's all you need.
I was like, what?
Okay.
They literally don't do anything else to just to make sure runaways, murderers can't leave certain provinces. Nope.
I don't blame them. I don't think we need them.
Me neither, because then it just becomes a big icky situation.
Yes, it does.
Of, I don't know, a distant utopian world. But that's a different day. Sorry. Nick and Krysta, listened to your episode last week. I mean, I guess it was this week. Sorry, I read ahead. I listened to your episode last week about how to ask someone out. What is your suggestion for someone who hasn't been friend zoned yet? I guess we didn't really go over that. I guess we kind of went into more of the starting off as friends route.
So this is like a random person, like somebody you just met. Is that the question?
They didn't give details. Let's give both. Let's give one for if you know them, same friend group, but you're not like friend zoned, and then one stranger. Okay. I don't know if you can just ask out a stranger.
No. Yeah.
That's not safe.
That one I would like get to know and yes, become like friends with, but it's like there's a line between the friend zone and not friend zone. Like it's a line you'll know you've crossed. And I just feel like if it's someone that you know, like you haven't been friend zoned yet, if you don't want to be friend zoned, you just got to shoot your shot as quickly as you can, really, at this point. If you know them and you know them and you know you want to go out with them and you haven't been friend zoned yet, shoot your shot. You just have to take that shot. You could hit the post, who knows. But
trust your instinct.
Trust your instinct. Just shoot the puck.
Take 100 of the shot. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
Yes.
It's so funny. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were trying to quote that, but they were Americans. And they're like, 99 shots, something. And I was like, I know exactly what quote you want to say, and you're so wrong.
Americans and hockey, man, they suck.
Right? But I don't know. I think it depends because... with online dating, the apps nowadays, yeah, you can totally ask someone out that you haven't met before. Absolutely. But I do think that you need to at least talk for a day or two to show that, hey, I'm interested. I need to know that, you're not a serial killer and that, we vibe a bit. Because, what if you don't have anything to talk about over text, you probably won't have anything to talk about in person either. Yep. And then you're both just going to end up either drinking too much or someone's going to end up calling home early.
Yep.
But I feel like if you, let's say it is a Tinder thing, just easily put it out there and be like, hey, do you want to go grab coffee sometime? You know?
It's an easy question.
It's just so non-committal. Being the coffee person, because it's A, you go get coffee, B, coffee's supposed to be short, C, you can always extend it and be like, let's go for a walk. Or you can be that party person and be like, because now places are opening up to 2 a.m. That is so weird.
That's very weird indeed.
Right? So people are gonna want to go out. People are gonna want to infiltrate the friend groups.
Yep.
You can just be like, hey, a group of my buddies and I, we're gonna be going to Livelihood. It's a bar down my street. It's not, I don't think it's an actual bar type thing, but Anyways, they could just say that.
Yep.
If you swung by, I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, true.
You know? So
Yep.
non-committal.
Yep.
One of those things, they're already out anyways.
Exactly.
They're going to be bumping into new people probably, so hey, it might just work.
Why not? Shoot your shot.
And then even then, I feel like if you met someone out, it's better just to like ask for their number first or something and then ask them out later.
True. Yep.
Or just be like, hey, let's hang out and then do the ask out.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to go on a date? Do you want to do this?
Why not?
Why not take a crazy chance?
Okay.
You're not going to sing the rest?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know the song?
No.
I guess I'm not really singing a tune. I'm just speak talking.
I don't know, Krysta. Sometimes I just don't know.
Nick, sometimes your pop culture is like more than mine, and then other times, It's a Hillary Duff song, okay?
I know nothing of Hillary Duff's work.
Why not? Hillary Duff back in, I don't know,
I couldn't tell you a single song.
Rock 2004?
She was married to the hockey player, Mike Conley.
Yes, and I have a deep respect for Hillary Duff because she did naughty things to that husband, or fiance at the time, as soon as they proposed to her on the patio, and she got caught by paparazzi. And I was like, girl, good for you. You got the ring and you did what you wanted to do.
All I know is that they were married. That is my length of Hillary Duff knowledge. Oh, and she did Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah. Oh, someone we used to work with used to call me Hillary Duff.
I don't see that at all.
I know. I'm not. I would love to be. She's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I actually think my older sister kind of looks like Hillary Duff, but that's besides the point.
Besides the point.
Besides the point. Anyways, time for the other segment, which is... Nick, do you want to say it?
No, I'm good.
Really? Wow.
Do you want me to say it?
I mean, no, I'll say it.
Okay. You go right ahead.
Recommendation. Of the week.
We tell you things to do, see, watch.
Eat?
Potentially.
Potentially.
I don't know if I've
So,
ever
Nick,
done an eating one. Anyway.
Do you have anything for us?
Sure do. By the time this podcast comes out, we'll be on day 3. 3 or 4 of the Olympic Summer
Does
Games.
it start on Saturday?
It's on the 23rd. So Friday's the
Oh, so
opening
it's
ceremony.
Friday.
So competition days. Anyway, so the Olympics will be starting in Tokyo. It's Tokyo 2020. I know we're in 2021. It was canceled, but they kept the name because branding. So this year we got like 300 some athletes there. You know, it's the most we've ever sent. Guys, give Canada some support, guys. Like, these guys work so freaking hard for like 10 seconds of time. Like, think about it. If you're doing the 100-meter dash, you know, the world record's like, I think it's like 8.9 or something like that. Your whole 4 years is down to 8.9 seconds. Like, these people put in so much work. They're putting in their time. Think about like the softball. There hasn't been softball in the Olympics since 2008. They took them out of the Olympics for the last 2. These players have still been playing the game they love and are finally back in the Olympics. And all these people getting their glory. You know, we got skateboarding now, rock climbing now. Like, just support these guys. I know it's a little questionable, you know, with COVID and everything that's going on right now. But, you know, they're doing a best job they can to keep them safe. Everybody's being smart. A lot of them are vaccinated already. So just support them, guys. CBC's make it so easy to watch. It's free to watch. CBC is a public broadcaster. You don't need to, you just need nothing to watch it.
Yeah, you do not even need TV. You can watch online.
Yeah, so just watch the games. It's I know the Olympics may be like somewhat of a dying art, but there's something about cheering on your country in the sports and just support these athletes more so.
I learned recently that a lot of the athletes in it have to like acclimate. I can't say the word. Acclimate. Basically, when you go to a climate and climatize. But it's harder for some athletes, and typically it's harder for women too. Like apparently, women take more time than men to get used to temperatures.
Yeah.
So they have to train like in saunas or like with extra layers of clothing, just when they're going to specific areas, especially for Canadian athletes. If you're going somewhere that's a lot hotter, we don't have extreme temperatures typically.
No, we do not.
I mean, yes, Toronto typically can get pretty humid, but and interior too, but it doesn't get as hot and extreme as other places. So I just find that so interesting.
Yeah.
But Nick, I got a question for you: winter or summer?
Well, I mean, Canada does better in the winter games, so
we do. We usually get a gold or 2 or 5.
We have the most ever on home soil, like 14. But anyway, we do better. But I mean, I love both. I kind of like the summer more in the sense of there's just so many sports going on. Like there's like 55, I think, different sports.
Mm-hmm. Like, a lot more team sports.
Yeah, and there's a lot less in the winter. Like, I guess it depends on if you care about, the winning or something like that. I mean, people ask me this question all the time. I just love the Olympics. I love the idea of 2 weeks of just sports. It's glorious.
Of course you do.
I don't think I could choose, but, I love hockey. I love, the snowboarding and stuff like that. But in the summer, track and field is fun to watch. Swimming's pretty crazy to watch. Penny Alexiak, we got this year. Soccer, obviously, our women's team. So they're both the same. I couldn't choose.
Too hard for Nick. It's okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Krysta, what's
yours? I'm going to take my recommendation and make it a lot shorter and sweeter. Okay. I recommend trying to make overnight oats. I used to kind of snub my nose at it because I was like, I would just make warm oatmeal instead, sounds a lot more comforting than cold oatmeal. But there's just something about overnight oats. A, the ease. B, chia seeds. They change the game, dude. They change the game. They make it more of a pudding texture. And then all the toppings. You can put chocolate chips in. You can put strawberries in. You can put whatever you want in it. And technically people think it's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So I recommend trying that because I kind of was not on board until I tried it recently, and I've been having it for breakfast a lot because it's easy to grab and go in the morning, because who wants to sit down and make breakfast when you have to run out the door, unless you have pancakes like Nick.
Meal prep, baby. But yeah, no, that's a good recommendation.
See, that's why I said eat.
There you go. She was foreshadowing.
We're very good at that.
We are.
Anyways, thanks for listening, guys. We truly appreciate it, Kurds.
We'll be back at it again with more Discontinued Gravy.
Talk to you later.